Hello, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome back. This is Force, and here today we are going to be taking another look at, yes, the Elder Scrolls Online. What I wanted to spend some time showing you guys today is easily what I touted as one of my favorite aspects of the game back when I played the PC version. And I've come across one of these that I haven't seen in the past before, and I was reminded, wow, I really love exploring this stuff for the first time especially. What is this thing that I'm talking about? Well, these are delves and or public dungeons. Now specifically what what you'll be seeing here in this video is going to be a public dungeon. And the point of this video is twofold. Number one, I just want to show you some of the different things that this game has to offer if you haven't seen this stuff before. The second thing is that you'll get to see some somewhat higher level content. So for the console version, I've shown content of really low level stuff, but this is a veteran rank 7 that's out of 14 total veteran ranks, and this is basically progression beyond max level of 50. So you hit 50 and then you start continuing to level as you go through the other factions zones in this game and quest, and you can also level up by other means, but that's what I'm doing here. So basically at this point I've unlocked a lot of my skills. I've basically got like multiple different builds that I have access to that I can do that'll be viable. And the build that you're going to be seeing here today, this is a Dragon Knight stamina build. So I've got a two-hander and focusing on my pump up weapon damage and then all the stamina bonus damage that I get, and then also my weapon swap is going to be this bow, and I've got a bow enhancements and some nice bow attacks with execute moves and stuff like that. So yeah, two things. We're taking a look at a public dungeon, which I love, and we're also taking a look at some higher level content. Now, it's worth noting once again that this is the console version and this is a transferred character. I have been leveling up brand new characters to play with my friends, but this is a character that I actually transferred over from the PC version of the game. They had this thing going where I think it was like if you pre-ordered it or something, you could get free character transfer. I don't remember exactly what the stipulations were, but the point is, this is a character that I played during the initial PC release. And I'm saying that because this is a public dungeon, and normally this thing will have people in it, but it doesn't right now because pretty much no one who started with the launch of the console version of this game will be veteran rank 7 right now. I mean, I don't even know if it's possible. Maybe if you've played literally non-stop since it came out. But very, very, very few people, if anybody, is around my level right now from the fresh PC release. And I'm sure that there were a lot of people who transferred that had max level veteran rank 14 characters. So I'm like in this sweet spot where not a lot of new console people have caught up, if any, and most of the people who transferred aren't at this level either. So it's basically just a barren wasteland. Typically, once again, you would expect people to be in here. Why am I bringing it over to this little point? Well, this was something that I mentioned in the last video I covered, basically doing some initial console impressions, but I didn't really showcase it in the video. I mentioned before, this game, especially the console version, might not have the most mind-blowing graphics, but there are some really cool looking set pieces, and there's some really cool art design. Like, I love this cavernous look, and we've got light poking through down into these waterfalls that are going, falling down low into that subterranean lake. Like, this is the sort of stuff I'm talking about. When I say that visually I really like the game this way it looks, it's sort of the color palette, the pops of color that this game has. Even though there's a lot of browns and grays, there's some really nice pops of colors, as you can see here with the blues and oranges, that really help offset that, and I think can look really pretty. Now, some people are going to hate the nameplates. Truth of the matter is that this just makes it a heck of a lot easier, especially when I'm doing what I'm doing now, which is going into content that's typically meant to have multiple people in it. I'm going to be doing it by myself. I've got a good build. I've got a decent idea of how to be playing. So with those things said, I can actually solo a lot, if not all of this. But normally there's supposed to be people here, so yeah. Having the nameplates is pretty crucial if you want to make sure you're actually able to take down those low health targets. Otherwise, it's really just kind of a crapshoot when there's 5+ enemies around you. It's really, really kind of difficult. There's no tab targeting, so remember, you got to be facing with your crosshairs everything. And anyways, point is, nameplates help a lot. And I also have auto loot on, so you're not going to see those loot windows pop up. So something about these public dungeons that we're looking at here right now is that they are chock full of chests, and they are chock full of enemies and these little bosses that give you good loot. So it's a lot of fun to go into. Whenever you see these things, hop right in. Once again, let's go out to the map here. The public dungeons are going to be this little icon right here. It's like a cave, a lopsided cave entrance. And then the delves are similar, but they're much smaller in scale. And those are these little torch icons. So every zone that you go into tends to have several of the delves, these little torch icons, and then a single public dungeon. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go around. I'm going to show you some of this gameplay. This thing is huge. I think my first run through took me an hour. The first time I went through this solo, which was actually last night, I think it was, and I said this was really cool. I need to show this to people. So we got some peeps right here. I am going to be going in third person. That's how we're going to be playing this thing. And the idea is I like to go in and try to take out a weak target quickly if at all possible. And then we go with some healing. We try to do some kiting, because this stuff, remember, this stuff is meant for multiple people. Like, it's supposed to be done by multiple people. So coming in here by myself is kind of a little risky business here. A little risky business. There's a big ogre. We're gonna smash him down. And there's still a caster back here. He didn't do a good job of chasing me to help his friends, unfortunately for his friends. It's very unfortunate for them. And then usually after I kill a pack, I will go around in first person mode and see if there's anything to loot. Lots and lots of chests. And the chests look different sometimes depending on the dungeon that you're in. Normally the chests look like what you expect a chest to be, this rectangular box with a little lock in the front. But the chests in different dungeons will look differently, I guess, depending on the inhabitants and lore-wise of that dungeon. Alright, so we're going to go in. We're going to try to take this guy out first, just like this. So we do a little bit of damage, we toss a dot, and then we can try. I think I should be all set to take down this guy too. We got these guys on me, but I'm going to go back and heal up. We're going to go ahead and switch to this. We can incapacitate them briefly with that little knockback that we have, which is really nice. That just allows me to do that. And then we got this nice execute spin attack. It is pretty glorious. It is pretty glorious indeed. There might be some people wondering things like about my build and such, so I guess I should just briefly show that to you. Let's go ahead and pop up into my skills, and we'll go all the way up to the top. So my first skill bar, again, this is a two-handed build, focus on stamina. I've got Wrecking Blow, Critical Rush, Executioner, and then my buff in Rally, and then a little bit of extra dot damage in Burning Embers. And then my ultimate here is Ferocious Leap, which is really nice because it does a little bit of damage, but more importantly, you get a huge shield, which buys you some time, and it's something that can be used quite often at a 125 ultimate cost, which is relatively low. I want to make sure actually no one spawns on me. Let's kill this guy really quick. I don't want the group that I just killed to all of a sudden show up while I'm talking you through my stuff there. Alright, so we kill that guy. We'll sit right here. All right, we'll go back into this. So yeah, that's my first bar right here. This is my main damage dealing bar. Generally, it's like I critical rush in, I knock someone back, deal a lot of damage to them with Wrecking Blow, and a lot of times they'll be in execution range at that point, so we can just finish them off. And all of this is precluded by having the Rally buff up, which adds a lot of damage and then some healing for me. And then my second bar here, this is the support bar really. I've got the Ignis Shield and Green Dragon Blood combo. Ignis Shield gives me a shield and increased healing, and then Green Dragon Blood heals me up. Nice synergy there. And then we've got some damage and CC. So the Magnum Shot will knock people back and incapacitate them. Poison Injection is like a ranged execute, adds a dot as well. And then Molten Armaments basically just add to my bow damage. And then here for the ultimate, we've got the Standard of Might, which is just some really nice like buff AoE damage business there. Really cool stuff. All right, let's go in this direction. I think we will just go and loop around and go back here. This is like the ultimate boss fight. Now, I'm going to be interested to see, because I am going to fight a couple of these bosses. We'll see how I do. Some of them took me multiple tries, so if I die, then just realize, you know, this stuff is kind of meant for a group. So if I die, probably not like the worst. What am I doing? There we go, there we go. Oh, gotta back up, gotta back up. I don't know that we've actually taken out anyone yet. That was actually pretty poor performance there. We're gonna heal ourselves up and dodge that attack. So you can see when someone's about to throw something at you, they've got a little, we're gonna run in here. they got little red glowy hands for those casters, so you got to make sure that you're avoiding that damage if you can. Try to avoid that damage, and you can do that by dodge rolling and stuff. That was a weak engagement, I'd have to say, but I'm also talking while I'm playing, so it does make it harder. That's a poor excuse, Dennis. Move on, we will. So a couple bosses in here. There's one right there. There's one around the corner over there, and then I think there's one all the way in the far left corner. I might be thinking of another room, though, but there's at least two here. The first one is Lugar. Now, I'm pretty sure I can beat him. I want to find some space to move around with him in, though. Because I gotta be careful. Let me see how clear it would be over here. There's not a lot of people. There's that one dude right there, and that's basically it. So I could probably clear that. I can clear this guy. Let's try opening up with our bow sneak attack. These things will do a lot of damage. I could even add more to this opener by starting off with putting up one of these buffs here, my rally buff. Alright, so there's Lugar. And he is a melee enemy, so those can be a little bit tougher for me, but I think I might be able to tank a decent amount of his damage, and we'll see what we can do. This is definitely, these big ogre guys are definitely one of the tougher ones for me to engage, though, so we're not gonna just, you know, I might die is what I'm trying to say here. There's a fair chance that this might not work out for me, but we're gonna give it a shot anyways. So we'll go up, do some damage, apply a dot. He's gonna do that quite often, actually, his little thing there. And we need to try, nope, that is not what we need to try to do. We need to try to stay away as much as possible. Yeah, this is gonna be very tough, to say the least. I think I'm just gonna try to back it up. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to drink a consumable, which would have made this a lot easier. So that's not good. I forgot to drink my consumable. That is really not good. I need what I did to beat him last time, which was I used a stamina consumable, and it basically made it so that I get huge regen, and I'm not sure without that I'm gonna be able to do this, to be honest with you. I am not so certain. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, I don't have any freaking magicka. That's great, Dennis. Good job. Okay, well, I'm doing okay, actually. Well, I guess it depends on who you ask. So, yeah, again, this is supposed to be group content. I guess it's kind of crazy for me to even be trying to do much of it myself, but I feel like a lot of times that I can do this stuff, so that's why I try, you know? Sometimes I feel like, hey, I'm pretty decent, I can do this. But sometimes I realize, not so much. Sometimes I realize not so much. Okay, he's so far so good. Well, not really, I mean, this is kind of scary, but we're still alive. And I guess that's the most important thing. Of course it is. Alright, I'm gonna switch up right here. We're gonna add a dot to him. I don't know why that didn't go. Nope. No. We're so close. We can't fail now. We can't fail now. We are so close. Come on, that stamina being gone really sucks. I really wish that I had frickin' remembered my potion. I just don't know that I can do this without my potion. I don't know. Oh no! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god. We are so close. We are so close, and I think we might just do what we did. Okay. Well, can we just take a moment to congratulate me? Because I honestly can't believe. So what I've been incessantly rambling on about that I didn't do is to get some stamina recovery. We don't have, it's not a ton. We could get some stamina recovery by 66. We also get Wow, that's a huge boost to stamina. Maybe we'll just get more max stamina, because that's kind of crazy. That's going to bump our damage quite a bit, too. All right, we're going to get 35 minutes. So buffs in this game, from what I gather, I've been reading up on trying to prepare for the end game stuff that we'll be coming up to eventually. Food buffs and potion buffs and stuff are pretty important from what I gather. So making sure that you use them, apparently, is a big deal. So me, like, going into this group content, it's... well, let me just try to clarify, too. This isn't, like... So I'm calling this a public dungeon, and I guess a good way to think about it is if you were ever like an old EverQuest player, you know, or if you've played any of those MMOs that had these big dungeons where anyone in the zone could go into, that's sort of what this is. Now there isn't some, you know, some of those games, EverQuest and specifically, I remember people talking about dragon fights that took like a week or like some crazy, it's not like that, but it's supposed to be that the game anticipates there's going to be at least a couple of different people in here, and for the reasons that I mentioned, this is a transfer character, and it's also like a middle-of-the-road transfer character. It's not the full max level. There's just no one. There's no one around. It's just me. It's just lonely old me, and no one's here to play with me. I don't have any friends right now. It's really sad. So it's just lonely old me. So, you know, it's not the 5-man dungeons, and it's not the this game's raid equivalent, which is what we call trials. That's what this game has something similar to what you would consider raiding. They're called trials. It's not like a 40-man thing, but it's a decent number of man thing. Or women. It's a decent number of person thing. But this game has 5-mans. It has these public dungeons that we're doing now, and then it has the trials. And we're just taking a look at the public dungeons. But yeah, point is, I'm here alone, and it's kind of silly. And this, I don't even know. The Dragon Knight used to be really good with these AoE fire builds, and I've heard that it's really gone out of vogue. Like, it's really just not that good anymore, basically. Let me go like this, too, and then we're gonna hop in. We're gonna just pop this down on that guy. That should be enough damage. Look at that. Look at that. Stay out of the fire. Dodge his thing that he's about to throw at me. And then go like with a critical charge. So I talked about it in my last video with my general impressions of ESO console, and I just would like to reiterate that here. This game feels really good on a controller. Like, it almost feels like it was meant for controller and coming to console. Ooh, maybe, quite possibly. Lots of debate about that when it first came out for PC. I'm probably walking by a bunch of chests. I haven't been looking too closely. Normally after every fight, I go into first person, I'll take a quick perusal around, since they've really done a job of making it really dark in this game, which is good and bad, I guess, depending on who you ask, but... Okay, knock him back, and then like that. And I can knock this guy back again, I think. Look at that, just wrecking it up. Oh, ogre! I'm gonna block your heavy attack. Thank you. And knock you on the ground there, thank you. And there's another boss right here. There he is. I remember him. Rourke Bonehammer. I was able to take him out fairly well. We'll see if I can do it again. We're gonna give it a shot right now, actually. Here we go. I believe in myself. I believe in myself. Uh-oh. Are you serious? Oh my god, come on. I'm fighting a boss. Now is not the time for me to be aggroing other dudes. Woohoo! Okay. So now that the other guy's out of the way, I think I should be able to do this. I remember, as long as I dodge that big fire thing, I remember this not being so bad. So, dodge the fire thing, block that, and then this isn't so bad. At least that's what I remember. We'll see if my memory is good. If I get hit by that fire thing, I'm probably just dead, though. So this is probably gonna actually... No, oh, shoot. This might be a little bit of a more boring fight to watch, because I'm gonna be using a lot of my melee attacks here. So... I'm actually surprised he didn't go for the fire breath after his last move. This does a, we just weakened his armor. The bow that I have is from a veteran dungeon from when I played on the PC. I actually think my buddy Erlax helped me get that thing. I used to play with him, and that was good times. That was good times. I'm gonna be interested to see if I get back into that sort of stuff. If I get back into like actually doing dungeons and whatnot in this game. Okay, now we're gonna put down the dragon standard now. And this character that I'm fighting, he is actually he is a enemy, but a Dragon Knight class type. Like he's meant to be basically an approximation of the Dragon Knight, but a mini boss form or whatever. All right, and we are just about there. So as long as I don't slip up here, we should be good. Just a little bit of cutting. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So again, very cool atmosphere in these stuff. I love the use of lighting and everything. Even though if you go really, really close and look, get all nitty-gritty about it, yeah, sure, not the most amount of polygons that we ever did see. But just some very cool set pieces, some very cool art. I really like it. It's all a personal thing, though. You don't have to. You can think it's trash. I don't care. Every time the ESO comes up on the internet, it's so divisive. It's so divisive. But it makes sense because it's a game in the Elder Scrolls series that came out and did not play like prior games in the Elder Scrolls series. So what do you expect, right? Exactly. It's not surprising, shocking, or anything to me that it is a very divisive game. And I wonder how surprised the developers are even, you know. You make a game and you do your best and you hope people like it. But I would venture a guess to say that they aren't so surprised with the divisive nature of this game either. That's what I'd venture a guess to say. So there's a whole left half that we really didn't get to see, right over here and right over here. We are going to be wrapping it up shortly. I want to show you this little, not even little, it's a boss fight here right at the end. This is, I guess, what you would consider the final boss. But again, everything we've looked at and all the time we put in so far, which, what are we looking at, like 15 or 20 minutes now? Something like that? I can't see the recording clock. I can't see it, but we're probably around 15 or 20 minutes, and that's just a portion of this this dungeon area. There's even a mini boss that I skipped in one of the rooms that we passed through, so I didn't even do all of the stuff that we could have done in here. But just lots of fun. It's a good time, man. I'm really glad that this came out on console, but more specifically, the reason I'm glad it came out on console is because it made it so that my friends, my good friends, picked it up, and now I had people to play with, and that's fantastic news for me. Okay, so this is the Eternal one, and he's eternal. You know, he's gonna cast a little shadow here, and we just have to avoid it. It was actually, I thought it was surprisingly easy. I say that, but watch me like die here or something. Maybe it's because my fire damage counteracts his enemy type, because some enemies are more vulnerable to things. But look how much easier that was than the other two fights that I showed you. Like, what the heck? That's quite silly. But you defeat him, and normally the first time you defeat him, you actually get a skill point for doing so. It's considered that much of a big deal. So you get a skill point. It's fun times, good times, happy times. There's a whole another left half. I guess we can head down there as we wrap up the video. But again, the biggest point of this, well, the point of this video was twofold. Number one, I wanted to show you some of the public dungeon / delve things that exist in this game that I personally, it's what I loved most about the PC version, and I was reminded yet again yesterday, like, oh, this stuff is so cool. It's so cool. The settings, the fact that you've got all these little bosses to fight against, there's just so much about it that I really enjoy. And the second thing was just to show you some higher level content compared to the stuff that I showed you in the last video, which was very, very, very early game content. This is actually, you know, we're actually doing some stuff. We're actually having to dodge attacks, and you run the risk of dying. Like, I've gotten very close to dying a few times. To be honest with you, I'm gonna be honest with you, I am astonished that I have not died. The first time I came through here, I was the same level. I was also veteran rank 7, which I am now. I died quite a bit. But it seems it's like one of those things. The thing about this combat is, although it is floaty, I will say that to the grave unless they completely overhauled the system. It's not the most responsive combat that I've ever played. But it gets more interesting as you go further into the game, get access to more abilities, and the encounters become tougher. You know, I've been playing fairly on point in that I've been doing a decent job. Ooh, that's gonna be nice. We'll hold on to that Quicksilver Helm of Health. I've been being very careful not to die, but if you are not dodging heavy attacks, if you are not interrupting spells or avoiding spells, you can die very quickly. Now, something else worth noting too is I am also playing a class and build that is very survivable. I very likely have been making mistakes and have not been playing perfectly. And because I have some forgiveness in a lot of my skills, a lot of my shielding and self-healing, make it so that even with those mishaps, you know, I've managed to come out on top. One capacity or another. They could have sworn there's been more chests. There might be a chest right in that corner. There's also another boss right down here beneath the stairs. It's very, very sneaky. You could accidentally walk into him. And I wonder if this guy he's right there. He's sitting right down there. Marzak, he's a jerk. There's some more of that view that I like. But I guess that's pretty much going to do it here for this video. Thanks for joining me, checking out some public dungeon action. Hope to see you guys on the console version of ESO. I like this. I like it. Not perfect, but I like it. It's like a broken record I am. I keep saying the same things whenever this game comes up. But I just want to make sure I get my point across. That's all. Let's get a nice little shot here. This is great. This is great. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. More ESO stuff likely coming up in the future. I'll see you guys later.